All right. Check 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Don't laugh yet. I've been messing around with these graphics. I want to try this new logo thing to see if it works. Then we'll hop into it. So, first of all, let me say welcome you all. I'm going to have to, I don't have a webcam, so I'm using 2 devices, which is why my Zoom is unstable. But, you know, hopefully in the future when the webcams are able to be purchased again, I can buy one. So I got my phone for audio, but I'm going to try and work off my computer.
They got the shit on back order on Amazon, you know that's...
And they back order everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay.
So, for the purpose of speaking...
The address. I might have to get that for you.
For the purpose of those who might be listening later, let me just say welcome to the Breathing Better group. I appreciate you all being on this Zoom today. Some of what I'm going to say, I'm going to aim at people that might not be listening right now, but will be listening later. And I always like to start out thanking the ancestors, thanking all sentient beings, physical and non-physical, for setting up this moment, this time, this technology, the reasons and the everything of why we're all together to do this work. Because we're all here to better ourselves, right? Ashe. So I'm going to start off with a quick presentation about the 5 healing sounds. Now, there are really 6 that people talk about, the Taoists talk about, but the 6th one isn't associated with a particular organ system. So my goal today is to go over the anatomy of the 5 major organ systems, and then do the 5 healing sounds for those organ systems. And then we can talk about questions about like the Qigong breathing video, if you all have gotten to see that, from Kung Fu Life, from Master Yin. And, you know, we'll take any questions and just see how things roll from there.
All right, I'm sorry, real quickly, because I'm taking notes. Are you telling me this is a inward upward trajectory or inward downward trajectory? Like, which way we going with the breath?
So, one of the things I want to do with this particular set of video is just to make sure that we have the basics of the anatomy. And since we're going to be talking about anatomy, I'm going to make sure that after we know where our organs are, at least knowing the Taoist healing sounds for each organ. So beyond that, what I plan to do, and I talked to Hood about this, I want to do a series where we have breathing exercises for the different chakra levels or energy levels in the body. Like an ongoing series. But for now, this is just more so a continuation of what we've been talking about in the Prepare to Breathe channel. Because we've been talking about the anatomy. So I would just want to kind of do a dive into these organ systems, how your diaphragm affects them, and, you know, what you can do as internal organ massaging with these sounds. Does that answer your question? I don't know if I quite answered.
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, man, don't be sorry. I love and appreciate your, I don't know what to call it, skill for asking these questions.
Skill. I'm just being stupid. Just talk to me like I'm stupid. Like, I don't care. I'm writing all this shit. I'm trying to text it all, but I'm trying to like abbreviate and catch it. So like, I'm only asking because I don't want to miss nothing. That's all.
Word. All right, let's get started. And as others come in, they can catch up. And like I said, I am recording this, so we'll go back and make sure it's posted for the folk on the Slack. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this section of Preparing to Breathe Better and helping us to live by breathing our spirit more into our living. Today we're going to go over still some of the basics, but maybe advance to others, but basics for our group. We're going to talk about the anatomy, what major organ groups are with the diaphragm or massaged by the diaphragm. And then we're going to go into the Taoist system of healing sounds for each organ group. I'm going to do a presentation at first, and then I definitely want to open this up for any kind of question. It doesn't have to just be about this presentation, but I would like it to be about breathing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. So the Taoist system of healing focuses on, well, not just the Taoist, traditional Chinese medicine as well. They tend to focus on 5 major organ groups. So what you're going to see is 5 different slides as we go through these groups. This first one is the lungs. And when you visualize your lungs, we want to make sure that we're thinking about the right area or where they are. If you put your hand on your rib cage, the bottom of your rib cage is not necessarily the bottom of your diaphragm, but it's where your diaphragm hooks onto. Then it goes up a few ribs before it covers or acts as the floor of the cavity which holds your lungs and heart. So the lungs are related to the large intestines. In Chinese traditional medicine, the lungs would be considered the yin organ, and the large intestines would be considered the yang organ. The sound, the healing sound for the lungs sounds like this. You make that sound by having your mouth partially closed, like you're breathing through your teeth. And if you notice, I have a little man off to the right with his hands in the air, but thumbs kind of facing forward. If you're doing this exercise sitting down, you can push your hands up into the air and make that sound, and then relax your hands and prepare to do that sound again. You can do it standing, you can do it sitting, but before you do it, the first thing that you should do is do an inner smile. So you want to close your eyes, let your face actually smile, relax your body and smile. Take that energy, move it around your eyes, or visualize it being around your eyes, or feel it being around your eyes, however you feel you move energy. And then take that smiling energy and move it to your lungs. You can hold your hands over your lungs if you want to while you're doing this. And when you feel like your lungs have been energized with your smiling energy, you take a deep breath in, and you make that sound as you push and hold your hands into the air. When you finish making that sound, you can relax your hands. Okay, the color that people tend to use to visualize lung energy is a bright white. When you breathe, when you pay attention to your lungs, and when you breathe with this sound, and when you give them smiling energy, what you're doing is cleansing your lungs from motion that they tend to exacerbate. All right, so as I was saying, the lungs, the emotion or negative emotion usually associated with the lungs is sadness. The strong emotion associated with the lungs is courage. The next set of organs is the kidneys. The yang correspondence to the kidneys is the bladder. The sound associated with the kidneys is chew, chew. Some people do it fast, some people do it slow. You can go chew. Normally, when you exercise the healing sound for the kidneys, if you're seated, you want to have your hands on your knees and have your back arched outward. If you want to imagine a color to bathe them in, that will be sky blue. You start with your smile, send energy to your kidneys, that smiling energy. You might feel them warm up. When you're ready, put your hands on your knees, arch your back out, and make that sound. And then relax again and send energy and repeat. What I'm telling you, there are live videos on Montauk Chia has some, and I will make those available in the Slack, or you can search for them under Healing Sounds Montauk Chia, and he actually demonstrates these positions. Next is your liver. Your liver is on your right hand side, and part of it lays over the stomach and pancreas to the left, but for the most part on the right hand side at your rib cage is where your liver is. The sound associated with that is so when you're performing the healing sound exercise for the liver, you want to have your hands up, but this time you can interlock your fingers whether you're standing or sitting. And what you want to do is lean to the left a little bit so that you're putting a little bit of tension on your liver while you make that sound. If you want to imagine a color bathing it, you can use soft green. Focusing on the liver and smiling down energy to it and using this healing sound changes anger to kindness. Most of the times when we feel anger, one of the first places we will feel it is our liver. You bear down and you feel that tightening in your stomach, but it's more to the right of your stomach. That's actually your liver. When you're like, oh, you know, like this person's gonna get it. If you notice, when you make that emotion, you're stressing your liver, you're pushing an angry type of energy into your liver. In order to combat that, you stretch out to the left a little bit, you make your liver sound, you smile energy into it, you're smiling energy, and it will help you when you work to manifest kindness. The next organ is the heart. The yang organ associated with the heart is the small intestines. The heart sound is, you know, like checking breath, but real hard. The color is bright red if you want to imagine the color while you're doing that meditation. And as you learn to generate your smile energy, put it into the heart, and then you create this healing sound with your exercises, it helps you transform impatience or hate, you know, negative emotions associated with the heart into respect, patience, things of that nature. The next organ is a little known organ, meaning little people think about it. Let me say that a different way. Not too many people think about their spleen. You don't grow up thinking, oh, how's my spleen, right? Everybody's like worrying about their livers if they drink too much, or their kidneys if they eat too much sugar, or their lungs if they smoke, or their heart if they're not getting exercise. But you never hear anybody talking about exercising their spleen. The spleen is a very important organ. Along with the liver, it can act as a secondary blood containing vessel. So if you're ever in an accident or you're hurt and bleeding badly, the spleen can actually carry an extra blood supply for you, as well as the liver. The spleen is in charge of breaking down old blood cells, removing the iron molecule from the hemoglobin, and cycling it through the body to be reused when new red blood cells are made by the bones. And there's some scientific evidence that might show that our lungs actually have a role in producing red blood cells. I still have to read more about that, but you know, it's there. So anyway, the spleen basically helps recycle your old blood cells. It's related to the stomach and pancreas. Those are the yang organs, which are connected to the spleen. The spleen sound is ooh, but don't make the ooh very loud when how I'm shaping my mouth. When you make the actual spleen sound, you want to go, okay. If you want to picture a color with it, that color is yellow, and it typically turns emotions like worry into fairness and generosity. Now, the thing that connects all of these systems is the circulatory system. Your blood flows through each and every part of your body, and your circulatory system is like a railway for your whole body. So all of the major organs are connected via this railway, and they all speak to one another. Contrary to popular belief, your heart as a mechanical pump is not strong enough to pump blood through every single vessel of your body. The vessels themselves undulate, as well as getting help from your other organs and your diaphragm when you breathe. That is how blood circulates through your body continuously. If your heart had to do it alone, you'd have to have a much smaller body or a lot less vessels. Again, don't take my word for it. Feel free to read up on it. Okay? But I just want you to understand that all of these organs are interconnected. As well, please remember the positions of these organs. Above your diaphragm is your lungs and your heart. We can speak about endocrine glands at another time, but yes, your thymus is there as well. But above your diaphragm is your lungs and your heart. Through your diaphragm is a large blue vein, blue vein and a large red artery. They go through the diaphragm to move blood from your heart to the trunk of your body. The other thing that goes through your diaphragm is your esophagus and some nerves. So as you breathe, you're helping blood flow or constricting blood flow. So when you breathe, you want to keep your breathing slow and steady because you have two big blood vessels in the middle of your body going through your diaphragm. That's another good reason to keep your breathing calm. Underneath your diaphragm, to the right, is where your liver is. To the left is where your spleen is. A little bit down, but also to the left, is where the pancreas are. And as you move towards the center, you have your stomach. And your ascending colon and colon that transverses across the midsection are underneath your diaphragm as well, and your descending colon. So when you breathe in, and your diaphragm relaxes and pushes down, you're putting a gentle pushing energy onto your intestines, small and large, your spleen, and your liver. Your kidneys are out the sac of abdominal cavity. Your kidneys are also the diaphragm. You're also massaging them as well, but not inside abdominal sac, everything else. They're abdominal sac and the inner muscles of the back. So remember when you breathe to try and breathe as deeply as you can so that you're massaging those organs. That being said, I urge you all to, again, for yourselves, look into Montauk Chia's books, and he has called Transform Stress into Vitality. And it goes over the 5 organ systems. And it tells you the relation to the elements of those systems, as well as how to keep them operating optimally. If there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this session, and we can speak later in the Slack.
I didn't even know you were back. First of all,
my bad.
You went in, you went out, you went in, you went out. Like, is everybody back in the room? Can everybody talk? Because some people are muted.
Yeah, I'm still here. I just didn't have a question. I mean, it was a great presentation. It really reminded me of a lot of things that I learned in massage therapy, and it gave me a better insight on how this is also related to breathing. So that was pretty awesome to see. I can say that.
Cool, cool.
Okay, that's nice.
Mm. I'm just
Just wanted,
hello.
I just wanted
I'm
you to
just
say one thing. Um, um, Prime, could you explain why they call the stomach the second brain?
Yeah, most definitely. It's really the stomach and the intestines because you have a
Membrane.
mesh. Yeah, you have a membrane, a mesh of neural cells that surround your walls, stomach. I remember the exact medical term. There's another one like it's like intric or something, intric nervous system.
And correct me, are those the same cells that regenerate like every 6-7 years?
I've heard a lot of different things.
Okay.
I do know
Okay.
that it's possible to regenerate nerve cells, but you have to. I know this might sound weird because you know I'm not fluffy. I'm a scientist, right? But I'm going to say it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In order to regenerate nerve cells, you have to believe that you can.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, that's number one. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. You don't have to
So there's
apologize for saying that. Duh.
right. There's a good book called The Biology of Belief
Mm-hmm.
by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And
Yep.
he goes into talking about how each cell is its own living
Yes.
organism.
Yeah, he quit. He quit his doctorate because of that. Once he came to
Yeah,
that discovery, like doing his work. I mean, it's not anything new, but once he came to the idea that
yeah,
people can no longer say their kids are going to turn out to be serial killers because their dad's a rapist or because their dad's a serial killer,
right.
like he disproved that shit.
it opens the channel for deeper breath, even when
Yeah,
working with this Kundalini energy as well, to sort of not having it go crazy, because it
yes.
helps channel the energy back into your own system.
Yep, exactly. And so when you put the tongue, it's just like what Ra was saying to Debris. When you have your tongue at the roof of your mouth, you're now connecting your governor and your functional channel, as they call them. Don't get me lying to which one is which, but from the base of your spine to the top of your skull and over it is your yang channel. The yin channel goes down the front of your body to your perineum. When you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth, you're making that circuit complete so that the Kundalini energy goes up to the top of your head and washes down over your body like a waterfall. And in some yoga practices, they will have you imagine your Kundalini energy shooting up out of your crown. Like I said before, I'm just not a fan of that. You work hard for your energy. I like the idea of circulating it. So yeah, I think that was a good point too. But I also like that he said not to stress it, because a lot of people, when they hear "put my tongue on the roof of my mouth," they're like,
Yeah, it's like a stiff word. No, that's
exactly.
no.
Yeah.
Hi. I have a question.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. When you was referring back to the lungs and the representation of how it represents anger,
Yes.
so I was
Well,
wondering.
the liver is anger. Lungs are like sadness or grief.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You said liver,
Okay.
and I was trying to remember because it's been a minute. What side is the liver located on? Would it be on the left or the right?
The right side. The right side. So when
Okay.
you do the healing sound for the liver exercise, you lean to your left a little bit to put a little bit of tension pull on your liver. But your liver is on your right hand side and the spleen is on the left.
Okay. Okay, I was just trying to channel in because due to the brief little session that we had before I entered in, you know, with the video, and since I do know that I have that stagnation on the left side, you know, and then just also because of my injury, and I know it's that and a lot more other things. I was just trying to see, since we was identifying, you know, parts and breathing sounds, what would be like a good suggestion, since just trying to pinpoint the anatomy parts that's over there on the left side to maybe see if there could be something I may be overlooking to focus on a certain organ that may be causing that.
So I would say a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Tonic. When people talk about taking tonics of liquids or whatever, right? A good tonic exercise for your left side is to go ahead and imagine when you draw energy or when you feel energy going up your spine, go ahead and focus it going down on the left side of your body, back down to the perineum. If I say perineum, you know what that is, right? That's the muscle between the genitals and the anus. You have a set of muscles that you squeeze if you want to like stop peeing or stuff like that. So from the third eye or between your eyebrows, roughly, or the roof of your mouth, down to your perineum is that yin channel. So
isn't
when
it
you're
called the
doing
floor muscles as well?
it might be. I don't know.
Okay.
I would have to. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you inhale, you want to draw energy kind of up your back, and when you're exhaling, again with the tongue gently at the roof of your mouth, you want to kind of just feel that energy cascade and waterfall down the front of your face, down your lungs. You can do both left and right if you want to, and then kind of feel it on the left side of your body, bathing your spleen while it's going down. And what connects your spleen down to your perineum is your descending colon. So that's like the last tube before your excrement leaves your body. So your large intestine goes up, or food travels up the right side of your body, across the front, and then down on the left, and then out. So what you want to focus on is you let that energy cascade down is focus on the lungs, bathe your heart if you want to. But if you want to focus on the left after you get past the diaphragm, focus on bathing your spleen on the left side in energy. The spleen, you want to picture bright yellow. And then just keep like in general, even if you're not focusing on a light color, just focus on the feeling of energy going down your descending colon. So you almost want to feel like, no disrespect, like you're relaxing into a poo. But remember to circulate the energy. As you
I'm
feel
sorry,
that
you said
energy.
relaxing where? I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, I said no disrespect. You almost want to feel like you're relaxing to poo.
To poo?
Yeah, shit.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't catch that. I was like, what? Okay.
I got a 7-year-old. I'm learning how to watch my language. So
I got you. Okay.
right. So you want to have that relaxed feeling, but at the end, when you actually do feel your energy get down that low, go ahead and just give a light squeeze of your perineum muscles, and then feel the energy go back up your spine and circulate. Now, you don't want to just do the left side all the time. If you're going to do that, do both sides, okay? But if you have to
Okay.
focus on your left for a while, focus on your left. But every once in a while, do some on the right, balance it out.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm happy to repeat that or write it down for you and send it to you later.
Oh yeah, I got all the notes. I'm just over here visualizing, but yeah, I got you.
Okay. Okay. Eventually, when you get that practice down with that microcosmic orbit, like Ra was talking about, how you want to include the legs as well, ultimately. But if you feel comfortable right now with your meditation with the circulation around your body, do it that way first and get comfortable with that. And if you feel like you're getting too hot or antsy, or you feel any type of stress, just stop the exercise at that point and let that stress dissipate in wherever it is, whether it's a muscle or an organ or heat, wherever, let it dissipate.
Okay, yeah, because that was my other question. Because since you
Mm-hmm.
personally know me and you know that, and just for the group, yeah, I am one of those weird people where my energy will shut down devices and things like that. So that's why I was also trying to visualize how to do this, because I don't know if it's good for my, energy to get that high, or do you want me
Right.
to actually maintain
It,
it? Because, I do have that controlling problem where my energy, since I do energy work, it likes to
yeah.
sometimes, do its own thing.
And that's where the ground comes in, right? So if you're imagining energy going up your spine and down in front of your body, if it feels like it's accumulating, it's going to
Hmm.
feel like it's accumulating in a certain place. And you want to
Okay.
focus on that place where you feel like it's accumulating, and just imagine that you're pulling from that place and plugging into the planet, like you plug a plug into a wall.
Okay. Would that be a sign that that may be my stagnation area, or yes or no? If I start feeling a more intense feeling as I'm zoning up
Yeah.
and down my body, would that be a sign?
In a way, yes, but I'm going to also have to say no, because what happens is our mind can trick us a lot, and our energy goes where our mind flows, right? So if you're always thinking that you have a stagnation in a certain place, guess what? Your body's going to produce for you. It's going to produce that stagnation in that place. Now, I also say yes because sometimes you actually do feel something. So it's up to you to discern whether or not what you're feeling is an artifact of your mind or an actual feeling. And then
Yeah.
once you feel that feeling, once you know what the actual feeling is, then in order to reduce that blockage, you want to gently, draw that energy out like you're plugging it into the earth. It doesn't have to be a hard current or a fast current. You could think of it as silken threads, pulling on that stagnation, collecting it, and pointing it to the planet.
Okay. Yeah. Because right now, well, as you know, I'm just out of frustration because I can't figure it out. So I'll just know to just go into, like I said, my mind is clear. I just don't want my hunt for trying to figure out where it's located and what's causing it, to
Mm-hmm.
throw me off, because I've been
Would
trying to
you,
pinpoint that
would
for a
you, this is, that's Sabine, right?
No, that's
no.
divine.
It's Black
All
Widow.
right, all right. I'm
It's
sorry. All right.
safety TV, but
Can
it's a
I ask you
different
a
thing.
quick question? Can I
What's
ask you
up?
a quick question? Would you say that you are generally in control of your ego, or vice versa?
In control.
In control? Because if I could just be honest, just through observation, like I wasn't even paying attention, and then I just noticed a couple key things that you keep saying. 80% of what you're talking about that's preventing you from doing this is your ego. Your ego is the one that needs to try and figure it out, because your ego is the one that needs to tell you if you're doing it right or wrong.
Right. Well, I know the
There is,
pinpoint.
there is no judgment, honey. There is
No, it's
absolutely
not.
no
We're
right. There's no
having
right.
a
There's no wrong. There's no up. There's no down. If you figured it out laying down on your forehead, nobody could tell you it was wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and all I was just trying to say was,
it's your individual experience. So like, Prime could walk you to the gate and you could still get it wrong because you're thinking there is a judgment on the other side if you don't do this particular thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're describing a person who is concerned about getting it wrong because they're not feeling what everybody else is talking about. No, it's because you're trying to gauge it. You're keeping score. You know, like,
Right.
do not put any limit on what you are doing, what you are trying to accomplish, or what actually happened. The minute you start labeling it, now you got to put a feeling on that label. Now you got to add a traumatic or trigger response memory to that feeling and that label you put on it. That's all ego. The ego can't exist outside of the now, so when you're doing this work, you're in the now.
Yeah.
So the ego is threatened. So the ego is making you fidget. The ego is saying, yeah, I'm doing it wrong, I don't feel it. The ego is saying, don't be patient, just do something else. That's the ego. The ego is going to fight until you focus on the now and remember that there's nothing else but you.
Yeah.
So you
I think
possibly get it wrong. Sorry,
right. You good. In all fairness, you weren't privy to the conversation that we had beforehand. So I know some of what we're saying back and forth, me and Divine are saying back and forth, we have some pre-conversation.
Yeah, I was just talking on the basis level. That's why I just asked the basic ego question. You know what I mean?
But I understand what you're saying too.
A lot of us have convinced ourselves that that is not a thing anymore. And I'm like, shit.
No, it's a thing.
Every day.
Every day.
Like,
that's right.
My friends, like.
No.
Every day.
Just to hop in. Yeah, just to hop in because I was just listening and just in all fairness, just wanted to hop in and whatnot. What I was just trying to say was that when I was trying to engage in the conversation with you, I wasn't trying to hop in a sense as a rebuttal. It was just the fact of just letting you know that I do understand you, and I was just trying to have convo because convo is two people, conversing as one. So that's why I was trying to tell you that I got you, and you don't have to say no judgment. I was saying that, yes, I was trying to converse with you at the same time without you thinking that I was being on but, because I know people do that. So that's what I was just saying.
Yeah. That's all. It's all good. We got to remember, one of the things we all have to remember, we are all kind of advanced. I mean, if you think about this, right, how many times you got people coming together for a breathing chat or a shadow work chat, or, you know what I'm saying? You got a group of people working together to work through some things that typically you don't have that happening. So I know for me, for you, Divine, for you, Rod, Jabri, for Sabina, I'm sure that when we go places and we're out talking to public, sometimes we have to explain ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, like,
because they don't understand.
I always get into that problem. Like, people don't understand how much I just study language. So like, being able to understand where a person is coming from just from hearing a few words, that's a different perspective. So like, that's why I'm always quiet. Like, I have to observe. You dig me? Like, I don't want to jump the gun. So like, I did not mean to make her feel like she needs to defend herself. And I understand her perspective of two people having a conversation. She was just trying to have a general conversation, and I appreciate that. I was just saying, basically, if you're still battling your ego, that's where your procrastination is coming from. I don't know the other stuff. I'm just talking on a basic level. And like I said from the beginning, no judgment.
Oh no, that was received. You're picking up on the nervousness in my voice because, as Prime said, I have not connected with people
so
like
stop trying to read my mind.
I'm having connected. So the vibration is nervousness. I
detected that vibration. The vibration I detected is that you don't know who you are, but you know you special. You just don't know. You don't want to admit it. Like some days you want to admit it, some days you don't want to admit it. So like You on the fence right now because you don't really know everybody, but I'm letting you know we still all family. We built an awesome family. Like, everybody knows something about something. So, like, you ain't gonna never have a wrong point. Everybody gonna have a bad point and a good point at the same time. Two things can be wrong at the same time. Two things can be right at the same time. So there's no judgment. So
Duality. Yes.
duality.
Yeah. You telling her to put on her superhero cape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like, dust that shit off. You know that shit in the closet somewhere. Like, something hot. I mean, you know. Get that kid-like nature in it, that carefree nature where you just didn't, when you was a kid, you knew you could do something, but everybody was like, boy, go sit your ass down. Girl, go sit your ass down.
I'm sorry, my superpowers come out at night. I gotta get used to coming out in the day.
You had it in your mind.
That's
magic.
at night.
That's magic. That's magic.
That's sweet. That's cool. That's cool. Y'all have any other questions? And if you
I have one more question.
Yep.
You spoke a little bit about how that, you know, 3 brains in the body, and behind the heart, all of the ganglion matter, brain matter
around it, not just behind it. It's in the pericardium. Yep.
Okay. So just so basically the heart brain, I'll just call it that.
Yes.
You talked about how, or mentioned a little bit how it can take over and override the other 2. Is there a benefit of that, or like what will cause that to happen? And
that's what I was
that you can kind of like control on your own.
You can't control it. You can't control it. I was trying to remember the exact circumstances. There's a book called Heart Math, and it's made by the people that Heart Math.
Okay.
And there's these people that made a device. What was that thing called? It's like a biofeedback device. EM wave. It's called EM wave.
Oh, okay.
Little E, little M, capital W, AVE. So they made this biofeedback device that measures your heart rate variability. Not your heart rate, your heart rate variability. So you're breathing fast and all of a sudden you start breathing slow, then you've had a variation. So it measures the little bumps along the lines, and they've come up with these exercises to help you smooth that out. So in their book, Heart Math, which I haven't read in years, they went over some examples about how the heart brain can take over, you know, for bodily function. And I don't want to lie to you and say, you know, what I think it is, because I don't want to mess up your perception as you go answer hunting. But I will tell you that that is one reference where I remember they did give some prime examples.
Okay. I just feel it's really interesting when you think about, you know, doing heart chakra work, you know, or just plain old just moving energy throughout your body.
Yeah. Well, and, your intestinal brain can take over too. You ever had stage fright?
Yes. Yes.
And you feel it in your tummy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Lower in your abdomen. Just this morning, but this is why you want to start getting used to feeling your organs, feel where they are, know where they are. You know, that's why I put up the diagram of the body, so that as you focus, you know where you're focusing. And what will happen is you'll notice you might not always collect energy right in the organ. Some of the collection points for the organs are off to the side or behind or underneath them, you know. But as you start to get more used to how energy feels as it goes through your organs, then you'll be more of the witness of those energies, and they will have less of an automatic control over your living. So if you're in a situation where you have butterflies, then you'll be able to recognize it before it starts to take over, and you'll be able to push some of that energy into the earth and do your breathing, and then just kind of go with the flow of the now, like Rob was talking about, you know, because you will have seen it, you would have felt it coming.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's day by day. It's day by day, you know.
Of course, yeah.
It's going to be practice. And even if you don't practice every day, every time you practice, Make it like it's the best practice in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. If you're gonna sit down, like there was this game called, a movie called Fresh, about this little kid who played chess,
Oh
and one of his
man.
mentors.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. I need to go back and watch that because I remember it
that
pretty good.
too.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
You remember what his mentor told him in the park? You remember what he told him about when he sits down to play?
No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
He said, if you ain't sitting down, if you ain't gonna sit down here to win, don't even sit down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the attitude you gotta have when you sit to meditate.
Yeah.
Even if you're only carving out 5 or 10 minutes or an hour, when you have to have the attitude of, hey, this is my time, my bubble, my energy. Everybody else has to take a backseat. This is mine, and then after you defend your space and your time, if you have to, reach inside of yourself and make it the best breathing practice that you can in that moment. We don't. Nobody's promised tomorrow, right?
Yep.
We can only do what we can do now. So when your now finds you doing your breathing work, be all in.
That's a great concept. Like, honestly, like, this is my time. Like, yes, like.
Right. It's a joke, but yeah, you know, we all have responsibilities to others, but when you can carve out a moment of time for yourself, you got to treat it like prison food. You know, hang over your plate. Hang over your plate.
Yeah, like I would suggest real shortly, if you've ever seen that movie Revolver.
I love that movie.
Look up for that movie Revolver.
Yeah.
It's
I
Andre
watched that last
3000.
weekend.
Yeah, it's Andre. Now, the concept of that movie lines up with exactly what I was trying to explain to the young missus. If you
Black Widow.
Okay, if you are still listening to the voice in your head, you got this all wrong. And the idea that you could get anything wrong means that you're already starting from a negative place. Okay? So
hold on, man. Let's slow down and dissect that and break it up, right? Because you got the concept, but just for the sake of everybody listening, the idea of right or wrong is based on what? Is it something that we're born with, or is it something we're taught?
That's indoctrination. That's
social.
Taught. That's
social
taught.
construct.
Program.
Right. So the moment I hear what you're saying, Rob, I'm just trying to.
Oh yeah, I was getting there.
Expand it a bit.
Yeah, I was getting there. Oh, I was getting. Yeah. I wasn't done. No.
All right, let me shut up. Let you go.
No, I'm sorry. That wasn't a complete point. I started wrong because I was trying to
Nope. You didn't start wrong. Remember? No wrong.
I don't want her to think I'm coming at her. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to come in soft. What I'm saying is that the hardest realization, even in shadow work, which I firmly believe is the only real work, but even in shadow work, even in self-realization, even in self-inventory, is when you realize that how many times you did something because the voice in your head told you should, and how many times you did it because it was convenient for the voice in your head because the voice in your head told you should. Like, all of those times are not you. Those are the ego. And that's the difference. That's not your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the ego is working with you in unison, like, and it only come out when it's necessary, or, you know, when you just want to show your God skill, like, all right, go ahead, shake that ass. You can do that, okay?
It comes out when it's necessary. You on point. It comes out exactly when it's necessary.
But if it's one of those things that makes you feel like a chore, like one of those things where, like, I have to do, you're not going to do it. Like, the subconscious is not stupid. The subconscious doesn't deal with anything negative. So you tell the subconscious you're going to get up and do something you don't want to do and then complain about the results. Subconscious like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No matter what you say you're going to do, the subconscious is going to let you know you're not doing that. And then you'll call it procrastination. You'll call it idol worship, blah, blah, blah. No, subconscious is like, no, you can't trick me, nigga. We're not doing that. Sorry, Black Widow. We're not doing that. And that's how it goes. when you have a debate with yourself, the real self will shut it down. That's how it goes. When you ignore the spirit and the soul, and you only acknowledge the ego, that's where you're going to get that. And whenever the ego is out of place, remember, you always wrong or you always right. Those two, that's it. If you everything else with the ego, you break it down to that. You always wrong or you always right. That's it. You get in an argument, you can never lose. My opinion is always the best. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ask the average person how many arguments they got and they lost. Never. What? The best thing is a winning argument. There's always going to be opposition. The key is being neutral. Not even caring. Like, you're supposed to be able to laugh at both sides.
Touche.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to laugh at both sides. Indifference. Complete nothingness and everything at the same time. I am the creator and a piece of fucking a teardrop at the same time.
And that's where that energy transmutation comes in, because in order to hold that mindset, that's why we're doing these breathing exercises, right? You can
that's why I'm here.
Break it down to whatever you want, but ultimately it comes down to, how do I sense my eternal being? How do I sense that part of me that is immovable, that part that is without this body, that part that does not rely on anything else, that part of me that is the creator, that part of me that is part of heaven?
There is no question.
Right. And but the way to transmute that energy, like, you can't just you can't just
like, you can't just put that in your sock. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You gotta be grounded, and you gotta be able to circulate it through your body. And so that's why I'm not like,
thoughts help too, because if your thoughts are dormant, you know what I'm saying, that's where it, that's where it kind of gets stagnant, like, so all that shit got to flow in unison,
Right. So
think about those cartoons, like, you know what I mean?
Think of this. Here's a theory for you. Your thoughts, if you store too much energy in your organs, too much hate, too much fear, or too much kindness, too much patience, right? It can go the other way. If you have too much of an imbalance of energy in your organs, then what is feeding your thoughts, right? If you want to have thoughts that are neutral, or if you want to not think at all, if you want to go mushin, no mind, right?
But see, what if being balanced is, or telling someone that they need to be balanced is misleading? Because I look at it this way, like, I know what you are referring to, but the average person coming into this, I think, would probably misconstrue balance for, like, you need to be just as good as just as bad. Yeah. Like that, like, balance can be misleading. Like, should I 75 for all of these, or should I, you know what I mean? Like, should I put 45 over here? Like, like, I think that is misleading on some hands. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you right. And I got a story for you. One day in Sunyata, when I was going to class with Sunyata Saraswati, and we were doing all of these Taoist practices, right? It was when I had first met him. It was probably like the first week. And I had been coming on time. But this particular day, I was rushing in. I was panting. I'll go in and I see him like sitting on the bench, getting ready to do something. And I'm like, Sunyata, I'm sorry I'm late, such and such and such. He was like, what you sorry for? Because I'm late. I feel bad for being late. He looked at me. He was like, stop feeling bad.
Yeah, because he's looking at you. You got that program guilt going on, huh? Yeah, that's that program guilt. Yeah, you put guilt in that little box with right and wrong too. That go in there too. That should be at the top.
So balance, to me, what I'm trying to say when I say balance, is a flow. You want to keep the energy flowing and moving.
Unison, right?
Right. You in the center.
Do you know the meaning of shunyata?
Nothingness, I thought, right?
Yeah, it is. It's no thingness.
Yeah, same as Saraswati. So Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati was all about that type of energy. The name of his school system was Wu Chi Dao.
The guy with like 92 letters in his name.
Yeah, pretty much. You know.
And he got all the big letters. Like he ain't got little letters in his shit.
But yeah, he was a brilliant guy. If y'all ever get the chance to pick up The Jewel and the Lotus, I highly recommend it. A lot of it deals with the sexual aspect of Tantra, but there's also other parts in the book that just deal with self-meditation, self-cultivation as well. Yeah.
To pass through Tantra, you really do have to somehow pass through the sexual part as well, because it is part of it, and it is just a life force in a sense.
Yeah, it's a part of life. It's a life principle. Yeah. I mean, you can't ignore it.
No, I know. I guess I'm coming from a place also because I studied Tantra, and I always defend Tantra being like, it's not just about sex. So that's also, I'm trying to teach myself that, but it is part of it.
But it is part of it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's what these breathing exercises are also good for, to transmute that energy, right? The Chinese medicine says that the kidneys are the seat of sexual energy. And if you think about it, it's only right because it's like adrenaline, right? You're thinking, oh, I'm about to partake in this ritual, right? And you might start getting your body pumped with epinephrine. Well, if you know how to breathe and you know how to circulate that energy and relax yourself, then you can create an experience where you have a more lasting and a more loving experience with the person you're with, as opposed to, I'm doing this for my kidneys, I'm doing this for my kidneys, I'm doing this for my kidneys.
I suppose even that would speak to of the blockages you could experience there with fear and gentleness, maybe like with the energy as well.
With a match first.
Oh, he's talking about something else. Yeah. No, you good. So yeah, the blockages that you can't experience, again, that just comes from not flowing, right? Not letting the energy flow through your organs. And that, to me, is like breathing is just, this is why breathing is so important to me. This is why I've learned why it's so important, because it's like that first step to getting that flow down. When you can breathe calmly in a moment of fear or strife for what other people think should be fear or strife or whatever other thing you want to call it, when you can learn to breathe calmly through that, then you have arrived and will continue to arrive as you continue to grow and get more skills, you know?
Yeah, and also just to add on, I know one thing that helps me a lot, I'm like big on visualization. I think I posted this in Slack, like before I get ready to go to work. I stand on my balcony and I actually like look for a bird, and I literally like visualize, and it's hard to explain, but if you can be able to tap in, it's an awesome feeling where it's like I really channel that energy of that bird as if it's myself, and I can literally like feel myself floating, and it just actually just shakes off everything, gets me, you know, ready to start my day. And it's a weird technique that I've made up that I've been doing.
It's not weird. Shaman do that. That's a shaman energy technique.
But it was so, but the feeling, it's like I feel like I was floating, and I was like, wow, this is super cool.
Did I just hear this woman say she can't do something and then just describe that?
Yeah, she's a shaman. That's what I said. She got to put on. She got to dig that cape out. She got to get that cape.
She just had a God channel describing it. She did every month.
I said I have not found
the God channel you just described. That's a God channel.
So Black Widow, if you haven't met Ra yet, this is what we enjoy about his personality. He will let us know when we are not wearing our cape.
Yeah, I've seen that name in the chat. I know what's up now. Wait till the chat.
You must wear your cape.
I didn't know he's from Brooklyn, but now I can hear it. I can hear it, and I can hear the accent.
All I say is let's keep it simple, all right? If you don't want me to judge you like a nigga would, right? Don't lie to me if you're gonna lie to yourself. If you're gonna lie to yourself, then you can't lie to me. I don't give a fuck if you lie to me. You know what I'm saying? But if you can't tell yourself the truth, right?
Yeah.
Have a real conversation.
Word.
Only me. I don't have no problems with nobody. I will tell you how I feel. I am very outspoken. I throw darts everywhere, wherever they land. We talk about it later. Like, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe in that see a duck, call a duck shit. Like, no. Tell me why you thinking about the duck, nigga. Did somebody tell you to think about the duck?
No, nobody's judging you. No judgment. What are you talking about? You don't have to explain.
It's just different.
But remember, Roz also used to being around people where he had to explain.
Yeah. Everything's psychology my whole life. So once I got past that bag, everything else was easy. Seriously. And I'm still a neophyte in this. Like, so yeah.
We all still learn, man. We learn every day, right?
Absolutely.
Every day.
Every minute of every day. If you pay attention, spend enough time in nature, you will be a genius by the end of the week.
So
nature, you will be a genius by the end of the week.
Let me run something by you all.
You know the man that made the architectural plans for Washington D.C. He talked
yeah,
about
Benjamin Banneker.
Plans, right?
Benjamin Banneker.
That's the same. Yeah, they had the rest of the world thinking he was just some poor little gay black man, but no, that man was a genius.
Yep.
Ask Henry Ford and ask Washington D.C.
Yep. So I'm gonna have to end the chat and jet soon, but I want to ask you all a question about my forward direction. I've already I mentioned it, Hood Mystic. I just want to mention it with you all. The inspiration that came to me was, we all tend to be aware of our energy centers, our chakras. The root. I don't want to mess up names. Sexual energy, then your solar plexus, then your heart, then your throat, third eye, and then crown.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do is go back through the lessons that I've learned and kind of put together a series, like a 7-part series, breathing and exercises or qigong for your root chakra, then for your sexual energy chakra, and for your solar plexus, and your heart, but I want to do each one separately, so I can focus on each one separately. Is that something that, y'all would want to see, or do you think I should maybe go in a different direction?
Oh no, that would be dope on my end. My vote is that's dope.
Yeah, I would be up for that also.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm riding with the squad.
All right. So I think that's what I'm going to work out with Hood Mystic. Like we did breathing basics. We did breathing 101 on his channel. So I think the next segments that I do with him are going to be that chakra work. As far as you all are concerned, I'll probably have more advanced breathing techniques and energy exercises. The reason I want you all to understand these organ positions is because, there's more to breathing than just breathing in and out. And I want you to feel and actually understand what's happening as your diaphragm is moving. Because this is the way, like your organs are all little energy generators. And as you learn to feel and soothe and work with those energies, you'll be able to tap into more cosmic energy. So I want to make sure with this group that we get our breathing techniques down, especially like the one I put in the Prepare to Breathe channel, the Ujjayi breathing. If y'all haven't had a chance to look at that, check that one out. It's just a real simple breathing technique to help expand your lung capacity. But what it also does is it will help you integrate cosmic and earthly energies because your breathing is more deep at the top and at the bottom. And that is the physical correspondence to you bringing in and grounding within you cosmic and earthly energy. So but I will, I'm going to continue to work with this group a little differently than what I put out on Hood's channel, if y'all don't mind that either. Because I think this is the place to get into advanced topics since you all are learning about anatomy. So, yeah, with that, I don't have anything else to add to today. I think it was phenomenal.
Nice to meet you all. I am the
secretary. Nice to meet you.
I am the secretary.
Great to meet everyone.
Yeah.
Peace, everybody.
So, peace. Thank you all for your participation, your energy, and your time.
Great to meet you. Sorry.
And I tell you what, next time we do this, I'll see if I can make sure nobody else is on my internet here, or I'll ask Hood if he can help me host.
No, you will.
Yeah. I will make sure that no other device is on the internet. And if worst comes to worst, I'll see if Hood Mystic can help me host it. But we'll see. I'll get it right.
Yeah, if I would have known you would have had these issues, then I would have hosted it, big homie. Like, I'm not at home. I'm in a place with a strong signal. I would have hosted it, but you didn't tell me anything. I didn't know you're using 2 phones.
I didn't know it was going to be an issue till we got started. When I started hitting that screen share, that's when stuff started.
That's why, because you're sending, you got to think about it this way, big homie. It probably connects normally, but you're sending a delayed live signal.
Yeah.
All right, so like, when it's outward, like it's connecting to all of us on time, but it's coming back to you. It's coming back delayed because it's going through 2 devices.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One's mirroring off the other. So that last one is really going to be like a fog. That's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's not really operational.
The other thing that would help is if I get that webcam, man. I'm still trying to find somebody that has one for sale.
That would help.
Webcam and a mic.
Now that we know what you're dealing with, I could look over here. Maybe I could order one from Pennsylvania and get it up to you. Like, I mean, like it's different, but Amazon delivering every day. I see a truck every day out here.
All right, I'm gonna look back on Amazon tonight.
Hey, they out here. Like, they got private contractors now. They renting their vans out.
Wow. Hey,
that's how much they deliver.
Did you check Staples? Because I just bought some equipment because I'm actually about to start.
Yeah, and a lot of places are getting rid of stuff because they can't sell it.
I found some at Staples, like a microphone, a mixer. It's really like now you got to actually go in the stores, even though people are not doing it.
People got too lazy. People got too lazy with all that convenience shit.
Because I found a lot of equipment from Staples, probably about like a month ago.
All right. I would definitely check them out.
Yeah, like if you could get to a different Walmart, not the one in your city, you might be able to get what you're looking for.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, but I'll look around for you though, homie. I'll scour the net tonight.
All right, man. Let me know if you see something. Send a link, man. I'll purchase.
I'll send you a breakdown of tonight's tapped in, and we'll go from there. You set up your parameters how you want. Like I said, just
thank you.
Next time, you know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm not gonna do these lives from my house until I get a strong signal over there. So I will always be with a strong signal. So just let me know if you're not sure beforehand.
All right, man. The other thing I might do is just hardwire. Like, I'm on wireless. I can hardwire into the router, and that might help too. You know.
You guys got Fios out there? That's the top-notch shit. The fucking the cable.
I wish, man. We captive audience. Verizon got the lockdown.
That's the big shit. Anybody that can get Fios, get their hands on that, get your hands on it. That is the internet that never goes down.
Yeah.
That's the shit they run all the stock market and all that shit on. Like, yeah, that shit is the shit. But all right, y'all. Thanks.
All right, y'all. Peace, everybody. Thank you.
Peace.
Do all the crazy shit you want. Don't get judged. Don't get judgy.
Enjoy your day.
Y'all, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.